In this episode, we talk about how to get up earlier to get more done by 11 a.m. than most people get in 2 days. My friend Kyle, aka Wellness Daddy, joins us to share the latest health trends and hacks that he found and a new AI company that replaces friendship. If you're new here, welcome to the Driven Podcast, where we talk about life strategies, where we view life like a game to achieve our goals faster while also maximizing the enjoyment playing the game. Because what's the point of a game if it's not fun? So put on your seatbelts, let's get into it. I've had one of the most productive days of the year today.
Today?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've been starting to get up at 6 a.m. and getting up early is always said to be the thing where you get more done. And I was always like, that's kind of BS. Like all these people who tell me, oh, when you get up earlier, you have more time. It's like, no, you have to go to bed at 9 p.m. It just shifts. You're not actually gaining any time. I always thought it was dumb, but there is something to it. And I don't think it's the time that you get, because you don't get any time, but it's the fact that it's difficult and you just lock in differently in the mornings. At least I have been, right? So I've been getting up at 6 a.m. That's why I look a bit tired, because I've been adjusting my sleep pattern, and I've been using some Uncle Huberman tips to do that, and it's been quite easy actually. So I want to share those as well. But man, I scripted the next video for the main channel like 5 hours nonstop today, and it was incredible. And then I did a bunch of other stuff. I signed a new lease for a new place that I'm moving to, and now prep the podcast. And it's only 3:40 p.m. right now. It's already pretty late, but I feel like I got 2 or 3 days worth of work just today. Because I think what it really is about is that you want to start your days doing something difficult, and getting up early is difficult. It tends to be difficult for people, right? And when you do the opposite, you check your phone right in the morning, the whole day is ruined. And I think it's just because of a frame of reference type of thing, right? Where when you start your day doing something that gives you pleasure, where you give in, like checking your phone, anything after that is more difficult to get into because you just jacked up your dopamine, right? Whereas if you start your day working out, if working out is challenging for you, or getting up early, or taking a cold shower, everything after that compared to that thing is easier, right? So it's all just relative in comparison of what you just did, right? When it comes to neurochemically, your dopamine levels, and also I think just your perception. And so that's been the biggest thing. And when I get up early, I'm like, I don't want to dilly-dally now. I'm going to lock in immediately. So I just go straight to my desk and work after doing a few things to optimize my dopamine levels, which I'm sure you know about too, producer John, given that
I do.
You work with Huberman. So basically the 4 things that he said, I don't know if I can remember all of them, we'll see, is obviously the sunlight thing, right? Like look at the sunlight, morning and evening. Exercise. So right when I get up, like a maniac, I go on my balcony and I take 2 heavy dumbbells and I just do 20 squats.
Oh, nice.
And then 20 military press or 50 push-ups or whatever, right? And then I'm just like, my heart is racing. I don't know how you can not be wide awake from that. And then, your cortisol spikes and your body knows, okay, apparently at this day, we're going nuts. At this time of the day, we're going nuts now. So the next day is just way easier. And then coffee. Mm-hmm. Like it's counterintuitive to what he usually says, right? But maybe you know more about it, given that you look at his content so much and you do work for him. But yeah, I think caffeine probably helps with a cortisol spike in the morning. So the downside is that it suppresses adenosine that later on comes back when you want to have an hour window after waking up to drink coffee, right?
Yeah, I think the benefit with the caffeine is it prolongs whatever cortisol, because you want your cortisol to be high in the morning so that you are a little stressed out, so you have energy, and then the caffeine prolongs cortisol spikes. So the caffeine itself won't necessarily spike your cortisol unless it's already very low, but once it's high, like the spike you get from the exercise, the spike you get from the sunlight, it'll prolong that spike. So it like gives you the additional energy.
Dude, I've been tired, but I've been energized.
Yeah.
And I've been sleeping less because I'm tossing and turning at night. I'm going through some stressful stuff right now. But yeah, it's really it's really easy.
The exercise thing is a great hack too, because like, I don't know when you're doing, like if you do full workouts or when you're doing those. Let's say you work out in the afternoon because you want to just get right to work in the morning. Well, if you do your 100 push-ups or whatever, right, first thing in the morning, then by the time you get to your workout, you're not feeling that so much. You've recovered a little bit from that little set in the morning. So you're getting a whole extra like hypertrophy set every day. So you could pick your one body part using the Hendricks selective bodybuilding minimalism theory or whatever you called it. You have
the one that we pitched to Dr. Mike Israetel when he was on the show.
Yeah, you could do that. You could just pick, I'm going to maintain everything, but I'm going to get giant pecs, and you just do your 100 push-ups every morning, and then you do that.
I was thinking about that too. What would it look like to work on your business, on your career, on whatever you're working on, and then whenever you take a break from that work, you do a set. And then you just spread your workout. I mean, you have your kettlebell next to you, you said, right?
I was just going for that. That's what I'll do. I've been popping out bicep curls this week, so I'll finish like editing a YouTube short or something. And while it's exporting, I get a minute and a half of exporting, and I just knock out 15, 20.
I love that. Yeah. What would it look like to spread out your workout over the whole day?
Yeah.
Like it's got to be, I don't know, it's got to be good for you. It might not be fully optimized, but it probably is a way. If you look ancestrally at how we used to operate as human beings, we were out on the hunt. We were, lifting rocks 15 times for no reason every hour and a half. I don't know.
You're not going to tell me cavemen only moved for 90 minutes a day at the same time every day. They're doing stuff.
Yeah.
They're like carrying the carcass back for 5 hours or whatever from whatever they hunted.
Yeah. Also, watching the sunset, 7:30 p.m., I go to the top of my building.
Oh.
It's on the 50th floor. And yeah, the sun comes down. And apparently, when you watch the sunset, one, it helps tell your body, hey, it's sunset time, so you should be getting up at around this time. So it helps your circadian rhythm. Mm-hmm. But here's the most interesting thing. When you watch the sunset, and later on, you're exposed to blue light, looking at your phone or looking at night lights from outside or whatever it is, right? It is only half as impactful.
Oh, really?
So you basically get a discount on the negative effects of it, right? I mean, the best thing is if you don't look at it at all. But if you do look at your phone, if you watch the sunset beforehand and you're exposed to blue light, let's say you don't have blue light blocking glasses, which I do have too, like a nerd.
Do you notice a difference when you use the glasses?
I always use the glasses.
Okay.
So I can't really split test that. I don't really want to try it out.
Gotcha.
But I do it every night, and it's just it's just easy on the eyes. Like it feels good while I do it. So yeah, I just keep doing it. I also have like LED lights in my bathroom, like these LED strips, and I just click a button and then it's all red. I don't like people that just turn on the lights in the middle of the night when they go to the restroom.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is insane. But yeah, it's been really great getting up early, and it does diminish my social life, which is also a good thing because I'm sprinting towards some big projects for the end of the year. And yeah, I'm really in a lock-in period, and it feels so good. When it's 11 a.m. and you've been writing for 5 hours, you knocked out 2 days worth of writing.
Yeah.
And it's 11 a.m. And you're like, look at all these peasants outside. They're just getting started. So
what time of day were you getting up before this?
Before, because I was traveling back and forth to different places, it was 8 a.m.
Okay.
But usually it was around 7:30.
Gotcha. That's when I get up currently. But I've had periods where I get up maybe 6:30 or 7, and I do notice what you're saying, and I think a lot of it is like, yeah, if you're awake when no one's up to bother you, and like no one's messaging you, you're not getting emails, no one's on social media, then it's just easier to kind of lock in and do stuff.
Yep. But here's the crazy thing, though. I have my phone away anyway until 1 p.m.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't check. I don't get bothered by anyone. I don't let anyone bother me. But I think it really is just the effect that you're doing something difficult and you put in all this work to get up early. Now use that time.
Do you think early is objective, like relative? Because I know like the sun is the different angles make like red light versus when it's up and then it's UV light or whatever, right? So like is
different
that an
wavelength.
objective thing versus like early for you? Like if you're getting up at 10 and you get up at 8, would that be the same benefit for that person as like for you where it was 8 to now 6? You know what I mean?
Not really.
Let's say let's say I'm getting up at 10 all the time.
It's really late for me. That's why I get,
It's almost your bedtime. It's 4 p.m.
Yeah.
It's the nursing home is
soon.
closing down for the day. So let's say I get up at 10 a.m. every day and I hear this podcast and I go, well, getting up at 6 a.m. is fucking not going to happen. That's 4 whole hours. It's moving my sleep schedule back by half. Well, Leon went back by 2 hours. I'll go back by 2 hours. So instead of 10, I get up at 8. Do you think that would have a similar benefit for me or no? Because it's still like the sun is at wherever it's at.
Yeah, it might. I think it's worth trying. It also depends on your chronotypes, right? So there's 4 chronotypes. You've heard of that, I'm sure, right?
I know the word.
So
I don't really know what they are though.
There's lions. Those are the ones who get up early. They do well getting up at 5 a.m., getting to work.
That's David Goggins.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's those. It oftentimes is highly ambitious people. Then there's night owls. They're the opposite, right? They stay up late. They're oftentimes writers and creative people. They stay up until 2 a.m. That's when they do their best writing.
Yeah.
And they get up at 10, 11 a.m., right? And so it is, it is kind of coded into your system. Not necessarily for your whole life and not genetically, although there might be predispositions. But it's just how your body is functioning right now. And I think it can shift over time as well. Then there is wolves and bears.
Oh.
No, wait. Am I mixing this up with something else?
I think those are gay references, actually. I'm the bear.
So wait, no, that's not what I mean. So I think try it out. It also depends on the work that you do, right? Friends of mine, for example, they have a YouTube channel and they don't need to do a lot of writing in the morning. And they should be able to go out and socialize with people because that's what they do for their content, right? Like my buddy Brad from Discover Connection. It doesn't make sense for him to get up earlier because, what are you going to do? For me, it's a lot of writing.
Okay.
And like writing newsletters. Go put in your email below. I'll send you something cool, a journaling exercise, stuff like that. It's cool. Sign up. And so it takes a lot of focus and uninterrupted work.
Yeah.
And so I think it's worth trying.
So I got a life strategy question for you. What happens when you have a conflict between different types of, like, your work demands like that, like you have different things and the biological. So for example, like there are some stand-up comedy shows that if I go to them and they start at like 8 or 9 p.m. and sometimes I can't even get on stage till 10:30 or 11 and then I got to walk home or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm barely getting my 7 hours. But I do notice if I get up early, I'm more productive and I like having morning time to do my workout and then get into my writing. So like, what do you think about that?
That's the main reason why I haven't been getting up at 6 a.m. Because girlfriend and friends.
Right.
Right. Like you just can't go out that much. Like, for example, a friend of mine, actually, Emad, previous co-host of the show, he's moving out of the building, right? So we live in the same building. He's moving out. He's got a party at 7:30 p.m. tonight. And I want to go. I want to hang out. At the same time, 7:30 p.m. is when I turn off my screens and I start winding down. So that I can be in bed by 9 p.m. so that I can read and then turn off everything and go to sleep at 10 p.m. so I can get up at 6, right? And so, that's tough. So I'm going to show face and then I'm going to dip. But I think when you have something that requires you to be there late, I feel like you kind of got to just get up later, because even if you have it one day a week consistently where you go to bed very late and you have to get up. Like sleeping in one time in a week, for me, it wrecks multiple days.
Yeah. Same.
And it's just you just can't get away with it. You kind of gotta figure it out for your own schedule there. And it's also better to, when you are staying up late, to still get up at the usual time. So if you get up at 7:30, but you're out until 1 a.m., still get up at 7:30. Don't sleep in.
So you punish yourself.
And that's based on Huberman.
Damn it.
Punch yourself. Exactly.
You're right. It is. Shame.
Let's see when Kyle's here. He's going to probably make a comment about me looking tired because he talks about sleep a lot and he sleeps like a baby. But yeah, I'm a dolphin, right? That's my chronotype. And dolphins have a harder time sleeping. And last time I took the test, it just said, oh, you're a dolphin. That sucks. You're just going to have to deal with it. You just don't sleep that well. But oftentimes, dolphins don't need as much sleep. I think my system has just optimized itself to not need that much sleep, which is good. Bears are about 50% of the population, and they need a ton of sleep, and they always have food cravings, whereas I can go without food and not even notice it.
Yeah.
I can also eat a ton of food and not gain weight, and I don't really care about food.
Damn, bro, I hate you.
Yeah, I'm lucky. But for me to put on muscle, I have to eat a ton. It's crazy.
Okay.
It's kind of insane. I think I've probably mentioned this on the podcast before, but it's a good, like I've had 4,000 calories a day and I didn't gain weight.
Dude, that's nuts.
When I was a bit heavier. And then when I upped it to 4,200, that's when I started gaining weight.
I easy gain anything. So I'm kind of in like a permanent dirty bulk unless I really try not to be. So like I can put on muscle pretty easily, but I also put on fat super easily. And I retain water like a mother. Yeah. Did you have more on the sleep thing you wanted to say?
No.
Well, I got a segue because I need you and the viewers. I need the YouTube comment. See, people don't like reading YouTube comments because they're like everyone's negative, but I'm going to reframe that and put that to my advantage because I need you absolute demons who watch our show. I need you cyber bullies to fat shame me. So I got a smart scale. Okay. And that's like, it doesn't just tell you what you weigh. It sends an electricity current up your feet. And somehow that determines what percentage of your body is fat and what percentage is muscle and all this and that, right? And that's all cool. I question how correct it is because I took down some of the math. I've been bouncing between like 185 and 225 for like since I was 17 years old. The heaviest I ever was 235. I needed to lose weight. Cool. And then I've been yo-yoing between those weights. I'm a better 213 now than I was back then because I put on a lot more muscle, but I still want to lose some weight. And 28.2% body fat is like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. I want to lose. But so I took all these numbers, all these different percentages, body fat percent, body water percent, muscle percent, and I added them up and I am 129% of myself. So I don't even know what that means. So I question how accurate the scale is, but if it's going to be wrong, it's going to be wrong in the same way every day. So it won't be precise, but I'll see the numbers go down. But so periodically, I want to do check-ins, and I need YouTube commenters to do what they do best and, you know, threaten my life and my family and say awful things that they could go to jail for about me if I'm not losing weight and I'm not under 129% of myself rapidly.
I feel like the scale is already doing it. Like, what do you need us to do? The scale is it's a built-in system. It's a built-in AI shaming system.
That's true. But like, dude, the thing that's weird. So it's been like 4 or 5 days. So I'm already down like 2 or 3 pounds, but, from when I took this picture, but like yesterday I was a naughty boy and I had some tortilla chips, but like, I know how many calories are in a pound. 3,500 calories are in a pound. And all I did that was different yesterday was I ate some extra tortilla chips and it says I gained 5 pounds. And I'm like, I didn't eat 15,000 calories of tortilla chips. There's not even that many in the bag. There's no way. So like you kind of learn like, oh, a lot of that's water or poop. I don't know. But like,
dude, yeah. I mean, you got to measure yourself same time after doing the deed.
Yeah.
Every day. All right. We have a wellness father figure who joined us. Is that correct? What's your
Daddy, wellness daddy.
okay? Wellness father figure. We're keeping it family friendly here.
Do you go by Mr. Daddy or just Daddy? What would you like me to call you?
Just daddy. Daddy goes a
Okay.
long way.
Great.
I got you.
So I don't know if you met John, producer John, before. He is the co-pilot here, and he's the one usually who's going to be dealing with the technical difficulties. And by that I mean he doesn't fix the technical difficulties; he just has them.
Yeah.
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 And
It's real fun. It's great.
Yeah. I can see
last
that in
time-
your face. It's big technical difficulty face.
Oh my god! So Kyle, last time I had you on, I was just squeezing you for the all the research you've been doing, all the stuff you've been getting into around health stuff. How do we sleep better, perform better, get healthier, so we can achieve more goals, and also hopefully be happy in the process, not be so miserable.
Yes.
And it's been a while, 8 months.
Wow.
So you better have some good stuff. All right.
Okay.
Give us the best stuff, and then leave again, please. Go.
Just like that, we're just okay.
Yeah, dude, you're put on the spot.
Okay.
You got to bring value.
All
People
right.
are dropping off right now.
All right. So this week, I actually connected with a realtor who built he's selling a healthy home here in Austin, and the home is built out of rammed earth, RAMMED earth, and it's based.
Damn, dude, the health people, they've always find a new way to like oxygenized.
It's basically
water.
It's basically a natural building material, and I've been going deep into the research into figuring out what's going to be the best for the build that I want to do. And I just talked to a healthy home builder yesterday, who's a totally separate guy. He's based out of Tucson, Arizona, and he you can check out his thing. It's called Synergy 360 with an E. Synergy is SENERGY. And he has a big development that he's creating in just north of Tucson, Arizona. And what's really cool about this is I was thinking that this whole healthy home thing was going to be this really kind of overwhelming process. And it was when I first.
So a healthy home, for context, is basically using the best materials, systems to optimize your health, because a lot of homes, they have mold in them. Like you're someone who has dealt with that.
Yeah.
You got mold sickness.
I'll zoom out and give like broader context. So basically, this is probably one of the biggest health trends that I'm going to like basically sink my teeth into over the course of the next 5 years. Like I'm going to be heavily investing in this space, time, energy, resources, partnerships, like all the stuff that I'm doing with Wellness Daddy is going to be aggregating a lot of stuff in the healthy home sector, because basically what happened is when COVID came through and like did what it did, we started spending way more time indoors. And because we were spending way more time indoors, people were getting really sick and they had no idea why. And there's this thing called sick building syndrome. And it's basically the way that homes are built right now is it's really bad because they're optimizing for two things: price and speed. So they want to build things as cheap as possible, as quickly as possible. And what that turns into is like a couple years down the road, the houses start breaking down. They're built with like really cheap toxic materials, and they start to have water damage. Then there's mold, there's humidity issues and CO2 issues. And basically people are just getting really, really sick. And because there's like rising awareness around it, people are doing more testing in the space and figuring out, oh, I actually have some of these issues going on. And the more people find out about it, the more people talk about it. And so it's kind of just becoming more, I say, in the mainstream, but it's not in the mainstream yet. And so this healthy home stuff is a way to get back to the basics of like what actually makes a healthy environment a healthy environment. And it's kind of hilarious how people will spend so much money on food and water and supplements and biohacks and all these things when they're not even filtering their air, or they're putting toxic clothing and personal care products all over themselves and cooking with Teflon. And so it's just this big, like, I think soon to be zeitgeist in the culture very, very soon.
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, it's the same thing with things like meditation, mindfulness practices, stuff like that. That was woo woo and that was weird, and now it's like all over. We all know it's good. Um, yeah, like that's one of the things that you really put me on, because obviously you had your mold story, right? You got really sick with mold and dealt with it for a while.
Yep.
80% of households have mold in them in the US,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, just
And
about that.
I mean, even anecdotally, I remember a buddy of mine, Chris Reynolds, he's going to be on the show next week. He was doing he bought this like brain scanner device for like 20, 30 grand to scan the brains of entrepreneurs and then connect them with a doctor to optimize their performance and see where their brain is, not optimized, where the brain is not communicating as well and whatnot. And there was one couple that came in because they were in a legal battle with their landlord because they had black mold in their house, and it was in their brains, and they just wanted to prove that. And one of the things they did was they took the brain scan, right? And it's one of those things that you can struggle with for years once you get infected with it, right? And so it's pretty terrifying. And since then, I've always made sure to, when I'm moving, which I'm doing right now again, this is something I look for, right? I looked at some places that were they were 7 or 8 years old, and I could already feel and smell this building is old, like 7 or 8 years, and it's the smell is musty, right? And now I'm moving into a building that's brand new. Again, I'm going to be the first one who moves in there, right?
Nice.
Yeah, and even this place that I'm at right now, there's only one person who lived there before me, and it's so important, which is really sad because most homes aren't like that.
Yeah, and that's why this is so exciting and why it's such a big opportunity and why I'm feeling so inspired is because what I'm realizing is like I thought it was this like really complex thing, but it's actually just basic building science where it's like if you just don't cut corners and you just swap out the bad materials for the good materials, put in a good HVAC system, a water filter system, some good circadian lighting, and like hardwire most of the house and put a kill switch in for the nighttime, then and you buy like low tox, no tox, low VOC. VOC stands for volatile organic compound, which is just stuff that off gases off of furniture and rugs and paint and all this stuff, and it's very harmful to the human body.
Gassy furniture?
Yeah, exactly. So as long as you just swap out the materials, you put a little bit of intention into the building, and you're willing to pay like a 20% or 30% markup, then you're good. Like you can cover all the bases and 80/20 it, and you could have a super clean, super healthy environment. The challenges come when you're a renter, like you are, in which case you just need to optimize what you can, which is like live in a newer build, but just because it's a newer build doesn't mean necessarily that it's free of mold or toxins. But then, you can definitely replace your filter every 6 months or every quarter. You can buy like a air purifier, like I like the company Jasper, or a water filter like the AquaTrue, or just something to cover the basics. And then that way you're doing what you can with what you got. And it doesn't have to be something you freak out about. It's just like, hey, this is the situation I have right now. This is the best I can do. I'm going to 80/20 it. And then when I move into a new place, I'll optimize it more. Or if I decide to build or buy, I can do even more. But it felt like just this thing that was so overwhelming. And then the next thing that I'm excited about that is sort of related to this is a lot of people who get chronic illness or dealing with some type of like long health condition. And what I'm seeing is that there is a deep like nervous system component and emotional component that needs to be, I don't even want to use the word healed, but it just needs to be adapted. And so when people can start to adapt their nervous system and become more resilient, then some of these issues don't become issues. They're like, your body it's like, hey, I got this. But like, it's when you're not even traumatized, but you're just like, you've been impacted or affected by something and it's been with you for a while, that
Oh yeah,
it kind of codes your nervous system a little bit. And so I know, Leon, with you, that would probably be like your sleep, right? And so like there was some coding that happened, and it's taken you a while to sort of peel back those layers, and as they come back, it becomes easier and easier to do the thing that you want, which is get good sleep. And you get to put in even less effort than you needed to before, which is really kind of like a catch-22 or like a mind twister, because you used to think you had to work so hard to get this thing, but in reality, it's just because you were maybe a little bit dysregulated. And so now when you become more regulated, you don't have to necessarily need all these crutches to hold on to.
Yeah, to add to that, Chris Williamson from the Modern Wisdom podcast, blowing up. You see him all over the place. He's crushing it. He's been talking about how busy he is, right? So, and like anytime I've invited him to like a podcaster mastermind or a dinner here in Austin with entrepreneurs, he's always like, love that. Please keep the invites coming. Brutal schedule right now. And then he had a Q&A where he was basically sharing his health challenges, and he has a whole list of health challenges, like a bunch. Like I think mold as well. He lived in a place that had a bit of mold. And when you are dysregulated, your immune system is lower, you become susceptible to getting infected or getting whatever you call it, right? So it was mold. It was like a list of 10 things that he rattled off. And he was like, it's been brutal. And it's the cause of it is just this consistent low level of stress. Like it's not this like, oh my God, I'm so stressed, right? For a short term, but it's this like slightly elevated, just like, oh, you're tapping your foot a bit extra, you're a little bit uneasy, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So basically, there's something called polyvagal theory, which talks about the vagus nerve, and which is this big nerve that innervates from the kind of like the bottom of your skull. Like it basically touches every single major organ system. And in polyvagal theory, they talk about the nervous system has two branches, which is like the which is the sympathetic branch of the nervous system and the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system. And they go a bit deeper than just that, which is there's this thing in the parasympathetic branch. It's like its own pathway, which is called the ventral vagal and the dorsal vagal. And the ventral vagal is where we want to be spending a lot of our time. And most people have no idea what it feels like to be in a ventral vagal state. Ventral vagal essentially means like very calm, collected, open, and like outwardly focused. So that is what it means to be truly regulated. And
just present, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're not in your head. You're not thinking about stuff which is inward.
Yes.
You're just got nothing going on, outward focus.
And you can connect. You can genuinely connect in that presence with someone else. And it's like my nervous system is safe, so like I don't have to be thinking about my world. I can just be present in that moment and connect with this person. And you'll notice that when people are dysregulated, they don't like socialize as much, right? They are usually overthinking, overanalyzing. They are usually in a collapsed position. And so the other side of the branch is dorsal, right? Which is kind of like a freeze state. That's where it's like you're not running away from the lion. You're just kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do. You're paralyzed a bit, right? And that's not a great place to be either. And then everyone knows the other, the sympathetic branch, where it's just like, hey, I'm in fight or flight. Like either we're gonna brawl or I'm taking off. And so I'm getting obsessed with how do I live in ventral vagal as much as possible. You want balance and harmony in the nervous system, and being able to go from one range to the other. It's not about just staying in one place the whole time. I want to experience more of like what it feels like to be here. And the way that I did that recently, which was really profound, was I did this breath work called effergy. It was crazy, man. It's a mouth breath through all the focus into your heart for an hour. And I've done it a handful of times with this guy, Wes, who works with Jasper. And dude, it's like a psychedelic experience. And every time I do it, so much stuff comes up. It's very like cathartic and therapeutic. But the last time I did it, at the end of the session, he has like custom music tracks that take you on the journey as you go through this breathwork process. And at the end of my session, there was this one song that was playing. And I don't know if you've ever seen like a Miyazaki film, like Spirited Away or like Totoro or John, you're nodding your head. Yes, you've seen these movies.
Oh, yeah.
There's a certain feeling that you get from these movies that it's like they're so calming and nostalgic.
Everything's okay.
Everything. That's it. That's exactly it. Everything's okay. So at the end of my breath work, this song was playing. I opened my eyes. I'm on the dock on Lake Austin, and I just felt a deep sense of everything is okay. I felt like I was in a Miyazaki film, and I'm like, oh, this is such a huge delta away from how I have been feeling. I didn't even realize how dysregulated I am day to day. And this really woke me up to like what's actually possible and how far away from just like a deep ventral vagal state most people live. Because I don't think I'm that far away from where most people probably experience somewhere in the normal standard deviation, right? So I just find this stuff really fascinating. And the deeper I go into the nervous system and vagus nerve stuff, the more it feels like this is the thing, like the thing underneath the thing, that if you get this part right, it's like everything else fixes itself. And I had a conversation with Wellness Mama on Sunday, who I was with. And
Your wife?
No, she's like a big inspiration.
Kyle, you didn't tell me about this.
Wellness Mama
introduce me.
Wellness Mama had a brand before I did, and she's a big inspiration for me. She also had the same condition that I had, and I'm in the process of kind of like letting go of this part of me that like was sick and whatever. It's been this whole identity thing, and that's a whole nother topic which we can talk about, identity shifting. But I asked her like, what was that like for you to like be done with it? You know, after a decade. She was sick with this thing for like a decade. And she was like, my what I optimize now for is peace and presence. And the come from that feeds everything, whether it's the diet or the meditation or the working out or any of the healthy lifestyle stuff that I do, it's not coming from a place of fear. It's or something that needs to be fixed. It's coming from a place of like, no, I love my body. I'm listening to my body. This is what my body needs. This makes me feel good. And it's a totally different energy. And she's like, I just have a deep inherent belief that my body is strong and resilient, and I'm not worried about these things. I'm still going to do them because like I believe they can help and they're good and whatever, but I'm not like worried that if I do the wrong thing, there is no right or wrong. You know, it's just like, what am I doing in this moment? You know, and I'm just like, wow, this is like a totally different paradigm of someone who went through the whole hero's journey. But this traces back to the video that I did with Chase Hughes when he talked about worldview and how there's the most important worldview anyone can have to really achieve any health goal that they want is that everything is going to be okay. The world is a friendly place and everything is going to be okay. And so I you know, the web is kind of like coming together. Like I'm seeing all the connection points, and I've been talking for a while, so I'll let you guys jump in, but that's sort of what's been on my mind a lot.
No, that's great. It definitely resonates a lot. I mean, and for context for the listeners, Chase Hughes is the brainwashing expert and also trained intelligence agencies like the CIA, FBI on persuasion, interrogation, influence, stuff like that. And so, I think that resonates a lot. I think it's the number one cause for disease is just stress, right?
Yeah.
It's just dysregulation of the nervous system. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. And it's not necessarily that you're like super stressed on like, oh, I can't, but it's this lower level continuous thing that chips away at you. And it doesn't necessarily come from just your career super stressful. Because you might be like, oh no, my career is not that stressful. My job, my business, it's going fine. Of course there's stress here and there, but I think it's mostly just the stimulation, the phones, the the news, the whatever it is, right? Like I don't think you need to necessarily have a super stressful job or a super stressful life for like to get sick like this. But obviously, if you do, I think it makes it way more likely.
And also just because of how it contributes to other things, right? Like if you're feeling stressed out, like for me, it's going to be like, I'll have an extra snack that I maybe wouldn't have had. And it's like, it just changes your behavior subtly. And then that all adds up too.
Yeah. More stress, you have a sugar rush and a crash and whatnot. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was thinking about making a video about this or writing something about this, but coming up with this term, I came up with this term literally today, which is dopamine resistance. And have you ever heard of insulin resistance?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's a big
Yeah. And
Dopa-betes.
yes, exactly. But basically, because of the way like dopamine and sugar are connected, like basically the more, and stress and cortisol in some ways too, it's like the more you do the cheap dopamine stuff and you overstimulate yourself, the more stressed you become and the more dysregulated you become, and therefore the more your blood sugar becomes dysregulated, and it's a very vicious sort of feedback loop. And it's like the more overstimulated and cheap dopamine dependent you become, the harder it is to enjoy life and do anything. Like everything just starts feeling a lot harder, and it becomes harder to get real dopamine. And so that's the whole dopamine resistance thing, is you're just building up this like tolerance of like just like hitting the little cocaine button on like the wall, just like give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. And I think that's actually one of the biggest epidemics that the modern world faces. Like I think that is like one of the things that if we don't figure out, we're kind of like headed for a bad place.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even actually, we could get into a topic that I've prepared that is off of health. I'm still curious about before we get there, is there any big health nugget hack where you're like, hey, Leon, you got to do this? Like, I just learned about this. Like last time you told me about the nitric oxide supplement. What else? There's a bunch of other stuff. Any little things like that?
I spent a lot of money, like probably like $6,000 on different tests. And I got this one test, and this is specific for me, but I'll give you I'll tell my story, then I'll give the framework for thinking about it, like a mental model. So I did this one specific test for my immune system, which tests my white blood cells and what's like the ratio inside of my white blood cells of like the neutrophils and the macrophiles and like all this like stuff that's like kind of above my head. And basically what we found out is one thing in particular, which is that I am what's called Th1 dominant. And what this means is that the immune system is, with people who have autoimmune, it's like a seesaw. And so you can either be like overreactive or underreactive. And on one side of the spectrum, you have Th1 dominance, which is underreactive. On the other side, you have Th2 dominance, which is like overreactive. And I'm like really oversimplifying this for the sake of explanation, but it's like a seesaw where like when one side is up, the other side is down. And so with people who have autoimmune, they have a dysregulated immune system. So there's malfunction happening. And so for me, I've been Th1 dominant for a long time. And because I took this very specific test that's like super, super niche and like it's not a typical test you would find, and I was working with the right practitioner, it's like, okay, Kyle, I'm going to order this one supplement for you. It's called XFLM by Apex Energetics. And basically what it is it is a Th1 dominant like pusher. Like it pushes me towards Th2 dominance, versus the opposite of that would push me further into Th1. So this is like it's pushing my immune system in the direction that it needs to go. When I started taking this supplement, because I had done the right test and I had figured out specifically what was going on with my scenario, and it was this is like precision medicine. It's like, it was very, very specific to my use case. When I took the supplement, it was like, boom, the lights came on. I had so much more energy, and I could go through the whole day, work out, work, go to an event, be out late, and still have energy at the end of the day. And like, that is not me. You know, I have been chronically fatigued and tired and brain fogged for a long time. And so that was like the first day that I took it. And it's not an overstimulated, like caffeinated feeling where it's like there's too much energy. It's just like this, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like, it's just like lasered in. It just feels like, wow, is this what people feel like who have like a normal operating immune system? And it made me really sad that I had been feeling not this for so long, but it made me really pumped because I'm like, yes, man, I figured one of the pieces out and this is really helping and it's really making a difference. And I know it's not the end all be all. It's like kind of like a step in the right direction, but it just feels really good to have that win and to know that I'm actually doing the right thing for me. So the mental model is really whatever the thing is with your health that you're working on, to really make sure you do the right testing and work with someone who really understands your specific situation at a degree where they're not willing to just stop at the first layer. Because we spent like 5-6 grand in testing, and a lot of my tests came back good, which is also awesome. I'm also celebrating that. You know, I got all these heavy metal toxins, environmental toxins, like all these things tested, and I'm like green, 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 green. I'm like, woo, let's go. Normally, when I look at a test, it's not something I'm super pumped about, but now I have wins because I think the lifestyle that I've been living, it's like accumulated. It's like, hey, what I'm doing is actually working, which is also really reassuring. But back to the mental model, which is really working with that person who understands your specific situation, does all your family history, does all your health history, and then is not willing to just stop at the first layer. So we did all that testing to rule out so much stuff. And yes, it was a big investment, but then when I make a decision with my protocol, it can be very precise and targeted. And I know that it's going to move the needle, and that's based on data. And I think most people just, they don't pull the trigger when it comes to actually doing the initial investment because they feel like it is overwhelming to do all the tests. It is a lot of money to shell out. It is scary to, you know, maybe find out like I have this thing or like these levels are off, and like there can be health anxiety involved in there. But like if you're working with the right practitioner and you're doing the nervous system stuff at the same time, you are going to be in a good place, I think. So
what are some of the, like, what's the go-to for people? Is it, obviously there's like base tests that you should start with, but when it comes to finding a health practitioner, like what do you think people should do?
I think a great place to start is my buddy Jacob Peters just launched his company Superhuman. And they do pretty comprehensive blood tests. And there's another company called Function that also does that. And that's just like, get your foot in the door. It's a like really cheap way to get some data, because what I found is like when you get a baseline and you get the data, there's no hiding from the data. And look, not every test is perfect, and blood tests are just a snapshot, but I think you got to get something.
Yeah. Well, even Function Health, not sponsored, but a friend of mine, or you know him too, Mike Black, also, you know, very health conscious, and he's been dealing with some stuff, and he recommended Function to me because he was like, hey, for like $500 a year, you get 2 health tests that gives you so much that if you go to the doctor, it's way more expensive and they only give you a fraction of it. So it's like, I'm really excited about the health startup space. And because it just needs to be disrupted, like multiple times over, like so in so many ways. Like the $2 million bill, that's just insane.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I think one last thing, because you just prompted me on the startup thing, to bring it back to one more cool thing that I found that I haven't talked to them yet, but there's this back to the healthy home thing. There's a healthy home company called I think it's called GeoShip. And geoship.is, and they are building healthy home geodesic domes that are relatively affordable. They're about $300 a square foot, compared to normal healthy home building, which is about $400 to $600 a square foot. And Tony Robbins invested in this company, and I think it's really fascinating what they're doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
These look sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's like future shit right here.
Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. Awesome, dude. Thank you. This is always inspiring. How do I segue into this next thing? This is
by the way, before you segue,
yeah. Is there anything else?
well, no, just low key. I do have a little bit of an issue, which is I left my charger at Jasper House, so I have 8%. So I just.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
You don't have another charger?
No, I looked all over the house. I don't.
Oh my God. Okay, we gotta be quick then.
Let's be laser.
Well, let's be laser. So there's a new company that I found that goes in the opposite direction, it seems like, of the healthy stuff. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Okay. So apparently, this is an AI companion.
Oh, this thing
called Friend.
Whoa.
And it's from this entrepreneur who he raised $1.8 million for this startup. And then I think $1.9 million actually. And then he spent pretty much everything on the domain friend.com.
No.
And well, it's getting him publicity, right? And so friend.com, Friend is a little device that you have on your chest. And it has a camera, it sees where you're at, and then you can be like, oh wow, look at where we're hiking here. And then it sends a message to your phone, well, at least we're outside. Or when you are playing video games with your friends, it tells you, it sends you a text message, it just beeps you and it says, oh, you're getting trash, it's embarrassing. And the vision of it, I guess, is that you have a friend with you at all times. And so this guy also bought an entire area in New York where they advertised. 11,000 car cards, 1,000 platform posters, 130 urban panels, West 4th Street domination. 100% print, all 5 boroughs. And it's kind of dystopian. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Have you seen...
Like, there's basically a whole underground train walkway. The ads are everywhere of just this company, friend.com.
And which government agency do they send all the data to? That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, right? So what are your thoughts?
This is a masterclass in expert level marketing. Like, this is another level of...
There's a whole website about people smearing it too, smearing the advertising.
So, yeah, this is genius. I don't know what his actual play is, but whatever he's doing is like to get attention is masterful, and we should definitely take notes. Like, there's something to be learned here for sure when it comes to marketing. My initial thoughts on the product is it just reminds me, this is like verbatim, like the Her movie, you know, with Joaquin Phoenix. Like, this is exactly where we've arrived at this point in time in history. And I just think there's going to be a great divide of people who are going to get more connected and people who are going to get like, dude, like, I just want people.
Would you guys have an AI friend? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
No.
Because this is where it's divided.
No, I would not have an AI friend.
Okay. What about you, John?
I know what the actual company is. Like, we did this song and dance with Facebook, right? Like, it's not about connecting with other people. It's about the data of what happens when you connect with other people. And that's all cool to sell ads. But when it's like, oh, you were geotagged at this specific place and like, I can see what you see. It's like, I don't know what you're doing with that. That's weird. But maybe I'm a boomer.
Dude, I would totally do it if it was great, well developed, and there's privacy, which is unlikely. That's good. I mean, I think it could happen.
What would great be for you? What do you mean by great?
Replaces your girlfriend?
It actually no. I'm not intending to get that intimate with this.
What if it was Scarlett Johansson though? You know?
No. No, I'm meaning just like a little ring, a little necklace that I'm wearing.
Yeah, but what if it was Scarlett Johansson's voice? It was like, "Hey, Leon."
Like in the movie.
Yeah.
No. I would make it a.
I love your jawline.
Thank you. Oh wait, you're speaking as the I. Never mind. Okay. I would totally, if it was great, if it was effective, because I want a friend with me at all times. But if it had a personality or even if it wasn't that developed, if it was an assistant, and it could help me, like it could push me, motivate me, help me answer questions, remind me of things, it'd be super useful. And I mean, if it was great, I would totally be down. If there was privacy, right? Which, is there gonna be? Unlikely, but I don't think it's that terrible. I think we're already doing it with our phones anyways.
Which is the reason why that's the reason why I'm against it, is because I think back to the dopamine resistance thing, it's the reason why humans feel lonely is really important. We need to feel lonely. If we don't feel lonely, we won't generate the dopamine to go out and go do things.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's like
you're right.
Dude, we need
it's the same reason that
we need this.
It's like it's like why a lot of guys who just play video games, they don't have any drive because the drive is all in the video game, right? Just they don't have the drive to actually go do something.
Yes.
It's like where the loneliness comes in the process. If loneliness is first and you're like, I should go do something, but like you do something and then you're tired and you're lonely and then you're just left with being lonely. It's like lonely's got to come first.
Ah, damn. I guess you convinced me. But if it's a really boring friend and it's just an assistant, I'll have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay. But it's interesting, the backlash. I mean, it's like you said, it's masterful marketing.
This is something that the functional patterns guy is doing, bro. I didn't realize it until
the cult.
I didn't realize
the functional patterns.
No, but I actually see through it now. Like he does that so that everyone shits on him.
Oh yeah, it's totally to us versus them. That's
but then these people generate content for him in functional patterns. And then people click functional patterns and they see all the crazy transformations and they're like, what is this? I'm in pain. Let me check this out. It's like the greatest marketing strategy ever. And I'm like,
if you don't care about what people think about you, it's a good route to go. It's like the Jake Paul,
controversy.
Andrew Tate,
it's controversy,
method,
right?
Yeah.
Like, but it's like he's actually really helping people. So he's like, dude, whatever it takes to help people. Like I'm helping people get out of pain.
So it's basically this guy, for context, it's this guy who makes reels on Instagram where he's always criticizing people and just like, oh, look how terrible this person's method is and posture and like we at Functional Patterns would do this. One more thing before your technology dies and you're back in IRL. There's a crazy conspiracy happening that I want to know if you guys think this is real. That Mark Zuckerberg left an Easter egg in all computers when you plug in a USB. So let me know if you can hear this.
Listen. It said, Mark Zuckerberg. You know who Mark Zuckerberg is? Do research. But look. No, you're not. Mark Zuckerberg.
Crazy, right? Dude, he saw this through.
Oh my God. Genius.
What do you think?
That's like elite level brainwashing, Chase Hughes style. What does he call it? Like a psyop? This is psyop.
Dude, I cannot unhear it when I use a USB.
Mark Zuckerberg.
No, you're not. So yeah, I hope I'm getting this stuck in everyone else's heads because I just don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
To bring it full circle.
I think that's great.
So,
fuck. You got one more for me?
You got something, Producer John?
Ooh, do I? Do I ever? Oh no, I don't actually.
Damn it. Otherwise, we can end the show here.
Ty Lopez is in jail, but that might be old news by the time this comes out. I was gonna say the friend.com ads that were getting vandalized. That is like textbook, like Ryan Holiday PR hacking. Like when he worked with Tucker Max, who, if people don't know, was like a frat bro writer who would go and basically have like all the sexual debauchery at different college campuses, and then he would write these stories about it. And Ryan Holiday, the Stoicism guy at the time, was his PR manager. And the strategy that he used was he put up some very offensive billboard in a town featuring something offensive that Tucker Max did. And then he put that up knowing someone's going to get upset and vandalize this. And then no one vandalized it. So he's like, I'll vandalize it. And he just went and vandalized his own billboard, took a picture of it, sent it to the local news, and was like, I think some angry feminists vandalized the billboard. Like, that's crazy. And it was like the small local news story. They printed it, and then he sent the link to that to a bigger outlet, and it became a national story. And then eventually they had enough attention to sell more books. They used the money, buy more billboards, and people were then actually, destroying the billboards and stuff. And so it's that basic marketing strategy of even if you have to fake it at first, you get a little bit of hatred going your way, and now all of a sudden you have a movement or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with Brian Johnson, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's getting that much hate.
He gets a lot of hate.
I guess so, but he's also stirring it, right?
Oh yeah,
I was curious. I'm like, bro, you were on the Kardashians for 3 minutes and you told Khloe about your nighttime boners. Why would you do that? You were, as the kids say, scaring the hoes. Why would you do that? And then I'm like, oh, that's exactly why he did it. He knows he's not being invited back on anyway. It doesn't matter. He's going to say something obscene that's going to get attention. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I would want to grow a brand that way because it comes with downsides, right? But it works. It definitely works. But what are the chances that with friend.com, like you said, John, maybe, he had 20 grand left from the money he raised and he just paid some college kids hey, go vandalize these, write this,
I have a question, and this might be the last thing I say because I'm on 1%, but what's the Driven podcast version of doing some type of stunt like that would draw a lot of publicity to grow the brand massively, not in a negative way, but in a way like in Wedding Crashers, he's rule number 23, don't only draw attention to yourself, on your own terms, and like you're having a good time, and what would be the version of that for this show?
We actually have an answer to that, but I don't know if we're revealing it at this time. Ooh. It was a pretty good video idea. I'll put it that way.
Oh, it's genius.
And it involves Brian Johnson. Oh, goodbye, Daddy. He's gone.
Oh my God, he's gone. The best cliffhanger. We might reveal it in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye, Daddy.